can because there we are. We're
It
recording.
just
Okay. Yep.
ready, set, go. Welcome to Real Scoop Live, a show for pool chemistry enthusiasts where we talk about all the coolest chemistry stuff you never knew you wanted to know. Any chemical advice or suggestions are opinion and utilized at the discretion of each individual pool operator. With that out of the way, let's start the show.
Woohoo! All right. That's awesome.
That's an
awesome.
intro, huh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That really gets you going, doesn't it? All right. Well, welcome to the inaugural. I don't even know what to call this. The inaugural Real Scoop Live. It's not really a podcast. It's probably more like a vlog. But we're here. All three of us are from API. We have Stacy from our customer experience team, Brett from the Midwest and the commercial side, and then me. I'm Matt. I'm here to kind of keep it all together. Actually, Stacy's more the glue than I am, but we really thank you all for being here, for watching this. We appreciate any kind of comments you have. If you want to hashtag questions or hashtag comments, you can hashtag Real Scoop Live. And that's what we're talking about here. So this is going to be a bi-weekly thing. It's to be about twice a month. I guess bi-monthly, not even bi-monthly, whatever you call it when it's twice a month. But this is going to be just some time where we get together and we talk about different questions about water chemistry and commenting on certain things going on in the industry and all the other stuff that goes along with it. So it's going to be hopefully fun. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. And I'm sure that we're going to experience some changes as we go through. So again, before I turn over to everybody to introduce themselves, my name is Matt Rybar, and I work for API. I've been about 10 years now. I've been in the chemical industry, chemical side of the industry since 2001. I've been in the pool industry since 1993, both working at retail and then I worked for Pool Corp, and then now I've been working for API. And this year is actually my 10th year. So been doing a lot of stuff with pools with water chemistry for many, many years. Brett, what about you?
Hi, my name's Brett. Matt is reporting from the middle of a bird cage. Always like to throw that out there. If you can hear birds, he's just really into nature. My name's Brett. I actually went to school for pools. I'm the one weirdo that actually wanted to get into the pool business. From there, I actually taught aquatic courses at Ohio University for a while. I ran commercial pools up in Chicago for 5 seasons or so. Then I worked for Pool Corp. I did the outside sales. I managed a branch, and then I started working with API a couple years ago. So I've done a lot of random things in the industry overall, which is kind of fun because it gives you interesting perspectives on 20 different angles to look at things. But that's kind of my background and where I came from. So I have a very safety-centric mind because generally speaking, when someone says there's an emergency at the pool, my mind goes to there's someone on the bottom. So that should give you a little bit of an insight into my mania. Stacy, who are you?
I'm down here in the corner, and basically my sole function is to keep these two in line throughout this recording. So I do customer service here at API, and I did not have a history in the pool industry until I came to API. So I'm loving it. I love this industry. So I think the Real Scoop Live is going to be a lot of fun, and let's do this.
Now we thank Stacy for that, because Matt and I, if any of you already know us, we really can get into the weeds when we start talking about chemical stuff. We just get really excited, and sometimes we need someone to tamp that exuberance down. Yeah, reel us back in.
That's right. That's right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we plan on doing for Real Scoop Live. Again, this is the inaugural one. This is the one that we just want to kind of lay the groundwork for everybody to know what we're going to be talking about. So hopefully, after you're done with this, you will watch for the next episodes. Going on. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is that it's like I said before, it's two programs or two whatever these are a month. On one of them, we're going to talk about the chemistry corner, where we talk about featured industry articles. We're going to have a conversation about some of that stuff that's going on in the industry. We're also going to have questions from dealers and from consumers. We're calling that either, depending on where they're coming from, it's the questions from the main drain or questions from the skimmer. So the questions from the main drain are the ones that we go deep down in. And the questions from the skimmer or the shallow end, whichever one you want to call it, are just random questions that we get through our CET, through our troubleshooting, or on our social media. So if you have, like I said, either one of those, you can email us. You can email Stacy. It's customerservice@apiwater.com, or you can just hashtag RealScoopLive, and we'll go through those. Program number 2, we're going to talk about simple solutions. We have another part of our social media presence called Rick's Remedies. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, or Pinterest, look that up. Look up Rick's Remedies or API Water Care. We're on all that. So any kind of comments or anything that you want us to talk about, that will go there. And then also after the simple solutions, we'll be talking about Spotlight Central, where we have different dealers or different complementary vendors to our products. That kind of thing. So it's really light, and if we get into the deep end, that's okay, because that's the kind of stuff that we like, and I think that's the kind of stuff that we get really interested in and have a lot of fun with. So if any of you out there that have been with us for a long time or know of us, you know that we had some webinar series at the beginning of the season, or before the beginning of the season, where we did not only different topics about like mitigating the chlorine shortage and chemistry 101, 201, and 301, how to get the most out of your complementary products, so that way you don't have to use as much chlorine anymore. All of those are available in an archive. So if you have anything that you want, or if you attended those and you forgot to ask us for the recordings or anything like that, again, you can email us at customersupport@apiwater.com, and we'll be happy to help you with all those. So with that being said, this program's not going to be the longest. It's just introducing Real Scoop Live, but we thought we would be remiss if we did not mention one of the big questions that we've been having recently.
And
then it got quiet. Sorry. Matt likes to take dramatic pauses to build tension. He's a master of the art, if you can't tell. I'm on the edge of my seat. No, Matt was actually saying we're actually going to talk about purple pools. It's not terribly common, but when it does happen, it can be a little off-putting when you go out and look at your pool and you notice that the water is a purplish color. Hey, Matt's back.
And he's back.
Hey, I think the biggest question we have is, why is my internet not working better? Oh, but that's not about water chemistry. Okay, I'm back. Go ahead.
So purple water can actually happen. One of the biggest causes of that is excess levels of stabilizer or cyanuric acid in the water, and excess levels of copper or free copper in the water, where they actually combine. And Matt, what's the technical term for it?
It's called copper cyanurate. Copper cyanurate, and it's a purple, typically a purple haze or purple powder, but it can also stain depending on how much is in the is in the water.
Now, the longer that the water is purple, it can actually cause deeper or more impactful staining on surfaces. If you've got plaster, vinyl lined pools, anything like that that's more receptive to staining. You can generally get the stains off, but in a lot of cases, you need to do a couple things to help mitigate what caused it. So obviously, with the elevated cyanuric acid level in the water, you're going to have to drain some water off and then refill to help take that down. But Matt, you want to talk about the metals and the best way you can pull those out?
So this is kind of, I mean, it can be a complicated issue. We're trying not to go to the main drain today, but keep it skimmer. But when you're talking about the different types of chemicals in the water, for all intents and purposes, what you're saying is essentially that you have protected metals, which are metals that are chelated or sequestered, and then you have unprotected or stray metals. Those stray metals can actually hook up with that cyanuric acid, which is what we don't want. The best way to get rid of those, there's a tons of different ways of making sure that that stray metal doesn't cause issues. For the most part, people will say, hey, use the Staining scale, which is a generic term for whatever kind of phosphonic acid that you're using, whether it be, Jack's Magic or Regal or whatever, or the non-phosphate based, which is the EDTA, which a lot of the different companies have. You can use those, and what that essentially will do is that will keep that copper in solution, make it instead of being stray, it will be protected. Or you can use Revive. Revive is a product that we have. Obviously, this isn't meant to be a selling gesture. This is more water chemistry because we're chemistry geeks. So this is one of the ways that we're doing it. But Revive is actually one of the only products where it will actually attach to that copper and then pull it out. So if you spray Revive over the top with the pump off, then everything will settle to the floor and you can vac it out. And if you can't do that for whatever reason, you can use Revive with the pump on. And what will happen is that the filter will actually filter out all that excess or stray metal. So, if it's copper or even iron or any of the other metals that are hanging around that you don't want in the water. So if you have, and Brett, if there's a way, can you bring up, I guess you can't really bring up the picture with the purple staining without messing up Stacy, right? But we have, because we have some pictures of purple stained pools, and so I thought maybe we would show, but it's okay. So if you have a purple stained pool, you can share.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, let me look on that while you keep going.
Okay. All right. So the best way to get rid of purple staining in the pool is to use some sort of ascorbic acid. Citric acid is out there. A lot of people use it because it's cheaper, but it's not as strong as ascorbic. So if you can find either some vitamin C from a pharmacy, or if you can get some of the ascorbic acid based products, that works wonders. As a matter of fact, the Pool Corp house brands, each of the brands has their own version of a stain remover product that's a powder. Those, what we found, and Brett, I'm speaking for you here, but after the different conversations that we've had, we've both found that those, not only are they typically less expensive, but they actually work wonders for what we're talking about. So
the blended ones are dynamite.
Yes, yeah, and they typically are less expensive than some of the name brand stuff that's out there as far as chemical or stain removers, right? So those are the ones that we recommend. You can get your hands on some of those. You turn the pump off, sprinkle it over the top, or you can put it into a skimmer sock or something like that and kind of rub it on there. That will take it off. And thanks, Brett, for bringing that up. So you can see, if you have never seen a purple stained pool, there's a perfect instance of one. You can see the purpleness all throughout the deep end on the transition and on the floor.
Purpleosity, if you will.
Yes, yeah, very good. So you can treat that whole pool with the ascorbic acid, but as soon as you do, the stuff that caused the stain now is dissolved in the water. So it's going to want to undissolve or come back out of solution and cause staining again. So the best way that we found to take care of that, besides using the generic or the name brand stain remover, is then to treat that pool with Revive. What that will do is the Revive puts kind of like a membrane around that stuff, falls to the floor, the membranes stick together, so that way you just back it out and you don't have to worry about it staining again. So that's really the best way to do it. Now, do you have anything to add, Brett? Because I'm going to go segue into the other side of purple.
If you've got a sand filter and you want to make it pull out a little bit quicker after you've done the Revive, you can use like a perlite or a fiber filter enhancer, throw a handful in the skimmer. That actually coats the top of the sand bed. And so as the metallic parts go through there, they get absorbed into the paper a little bit quicker and a little bit more fully, so that when you backwash, you're getting more of that out. Just another trick if you need it. You may not need it, but if you do, it's good to know that you've got a backup for, hey, I can get more out this way if need be.
Mhm.
I just changed the picture to another purple pool that someone
Nice.
sent me here recently too.
Yeah, so the cellulose fiber that is the, we call it fake DE. It doesn't really matter what the name brand is because it's all cellulose fiber. That stuff, because the actual ion of the metal is so small that unless you have a DE filter, your filter's not going to filter it out. So that's what we're talking about using cellulose fiber, because that makes the sand filter much more efficiently. Just remember that also raises the PSI, and so you don't want it to get too high because then the flow slows down, and you know how that, what happens after that. So yeah, great advice. That perlite stuff, which is a brand name, that stuff works wonders. So if you've never used it, never tried it, or if your local distribution center doesn't have it, try to get your hands on some, and you'll see a world of difference with using that product. All right, so we kind of went over that. The copper cyanurate is the one that's the most readily seen. Probably 85 or 90% of all the questions that we get asked about
Regarding
purple
purple.
pools,
Yeah,
has something to do with copper cyanurate. But there are different types of growth, not necessarily algae, but fungus and bacteria that can come out as purple. The difference between those and a purple shaded pool or copper cyanurate is that copper cyanurate is going to be powder, so powdery or a stain. So if you have an organic purple issue, then that can happen either from, now I always get this mixed up, Brett. Is it magnesium or manganese? It's magnesium, right? Magnesium in purple
was the purple,
pools.
manganese was brownish, if I
Yeah,
recall.
manganese is brown. Yeah, magnesium is purple. So if you have fill water that has magnesium in it, if the pH goes awry, or if the chlorine gets too high, then that magnesium can actually turn purple. So that would be the other version. That can be treated the same way. So if it's not copper cyanurate and you still have purple, or if you know that the cyanuric acid is not high and there's no copper in the water, then it's probably going to be magnesium. You can treat it the same way with using the ascorbic acid based stain removal product, and then Revive on top of that. If that's not the case and you actually have a growth that's purple, that means it's organic. So if it's organic, then what you want to do is, and it's very important to figure out whether it's organic or if it's mineral/metal, because you can't mix these two, right? Because if it's mineral metal and you treat it like an organic, it makes the mineral and metal much worse. And if it's organic,
more staining on the surfaces.
yeah, and it's much harder to get rid of. But if it's organic and you treat with the metals, with a metal remover, then you just wasted your time and money, or your customer's time and money. So you really need to make sure which one is which. So if it's a growth, then it's organic. If it's powdery or a stain, then odds are, very high odds it's going to be the metal or mineral version. Yeah. Okay, so not that we beat that down, but I think we did pretty well on that. Again, we're kind of trying to stay not in the deep end, but kind of like on the transition between shallow and deep today. And I
See
think
how
that we did
easy
a
it
pretty
is
good
to
job.
get in there, though?
Yeah, it is, because there's so many different things to consider, right? Because everybody comes to different, comes to taking care of pools differently. They use different products. There's a lot of products out there. The nice thing about being in the position that that Brett and I have been in is that we have collectively sold pretty much every product that's out there in the millions of dollars worth. So we know how these products work, and so that way, if you have questions, odds are you're probably not going to have too many questions about Easy Pool or Easy Spa or Revive or Pepper or any of that stuff. But if you have questions about how to take care of certain issues or what products to use and how they work back and forth, well then, hey, we're your guys. So again, just as an outro, we appreciate you being here. Stacy, thank you so much for keeping us on track. You really didn't have to do much this time other than, thankfully I didn't see you roll your eyes or anything, but I'm sure that will happen at some point in time. But other than that, once again, let's just go through the credentials. You guys go to customer support at apiwater.com with your if you want to email a question, or you can hashtag Real Scoop Live on any of the social medias that we're on. If you follow Rick's Remedies, because we're really into chemical knowledge, get on Rick's Remedies and all those. And I think we'll see you next time, unless you guys have anything else to say at the end.
I think I'm good. Everyone, thanks for your time today. Hopefully we can find a way to incorporate this into people's work and get some benefit out of it as well. Because Matt and I just like talking with each other, so that's kind of a fun thing that we get to do now too.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't mind Stacy either.
Oh, she's a good egg.
Thanks.
All right, great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. Stacy got the outro for us?
I will hear shortly.
All right, great. So any questions, comments, feel free to get with us personally or on all those ways that we talked about before. And we'll see you on the next Real Scoop Live.
See ya.